they're talking right now about what they're going to do with 155 pounds in the title. The rumor right now is that Ilia Topuria, that Ilia is going to fight at 55 for a title. It just says a title. So they don't know if it's going to be an interim belt, if it's going to be undisputed belt and undisputed belt, or if it's going to be a vacant belt. I guess that's good that we know that, because if they were going to have Gaethje, it would have been the most undeserved lightweight shot in recent memory. Arguably, Islam was not really deserved either. Like, I understand he had a bunch of like fights that were lined up and didn't pan out. He's supposed to fight Dariush at one point, and that didn't come through, so he fought Bobby Green instead. And then he was supposed to fight RDA in October, I think, in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, that sounds about right. But then he fought Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, but I got a fight. Then I'm gonna fight Justin Gaethje and my Dustin Poirier. I'm gonna smash your face in. I don't think he deserved a title shot after beating Hooker and what's his name, Bobby Green, King Green. That was silly sauce. But now they're talking about Gaethje doing it. But if you think about it, okay, so Gaethje lost to Oliveira in April of 2022. All right, that was 3 years ago. Since April of 2022, he beat Fiziev in March of 2023, so he didn't fight for like 11 months. After that, he fought Poirier in July in Utah. The head kick knockout in Utah. That was awesome. If he fought for the title after that, I'd be like, yeah, obviously that makes sense. I thought that he should have. I thought he was the right person to fight for the title. Instead, they had Oliveira fighting for the whatever, and then he pulled out. And look, I'm the top of guy. If something happens and I'll get called up on 11 days' notice, that's it. I'm taking that fight, and I'm gonna be the champ. I got that dog in me, and he got knocked the fuck out. Oh, I was so depressed after that fight. After Volk got knocked out by Islam, I was depressed for like 15 minutes. I ordered a pizza, ate that, and that helped a lot. But anyway, what am I talking about? Right, yeah. So Gaethje beat Fiziev and Poirier, and then he fought Holloway and got his ass whooped. He got his ass spanked. Like it was competitive, I guess. Yeah, like he won the 4th round. He knocked down Holloway. I know he like knocked him down, but if you watch that, he did hit him really hard. And even Holloway said like, "Yeah, dude, I got hit pretty hard," and he went down, but he was like, it was when he was moving backwards and Holloway was like shifting his feet. I think his feet kind of got tangled up too. It was like a weird little exchange when they came together. It was a little collision. And Gaethje, oh, you know, that's what I do. I create car crashes at the octagon. That was like his one good moment of success in that fight. Like he had like you know, little shots here or there. Fucking potholes. They take like 60% of someone's paycheck in Illinois, and they can't fix the fucking potholes in this street. Anyway, what was I talking about? Right. So then he gets 5 rounds whooped by Holloway. Takes another like 11 months off, and then he fights. He gets scheduled to fight Dan Hooker for. Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been a fun fight. But Dan Hooker pulls out with an injury, and Fiziev comes in on, I don't remember how long of a notice it was. Not much though. I think less than 2 weeks, right? Yeah, less than 2 weeks he comes in, and that was after Fiziev had that long layoff with an injury, ACL or something, his knee. I don't know. Gamrot did his telekinesis and fucked up his knee. Whatever, that's what happens. But that was his first fight back after how many years? Like 2. I think it was like summer of 2022, right? No, 23. My bad. Okay, so like a year and a half-ish. His first fight back on short notice, and he fought Gaethje. So, and that was a close fight, too. That was a really close fight. First round, Fiziev, right? Second round is when Gaethje knocked him down, I think. I don't know. I've only watched the fight once. And then the third round was close. I thought Gaethje did clearly win, but it was close. It was a close fight. And now Gaethje's talking about deserving a title shot, which is absolutely unbelievable. He just remixed his win. This fucking idiot. He remixed his win from March of 2023 in March of 2025. He did the same thing, and I kind of think he did it less impressive. Oh no, he did it. I guess maybe a little bit better. I don't remember. I'd have to watch the two back to back. But it was on 11 days notice, or 2 weeks notice, or whatever for Fiziev. So you can't. It would be such a disgrace to the sport if they gave Justin Gaethje a title shot based on his one win against Fiziev. And I know he was saying like, oh, my title fight against Holloway was an exhibition. It doesn't count. Fuck, it does not, dude. Why is it an exhibition bout? Because it's BMF. To the BMF, it doesn't really count. All right, then fine. So you have 2 wins against Fiziev, because I'm not going to count your knockout against Poirier, which was super impressive, I thought. You don't really see that happen. You don't see that happen to Poirier. I used to hate Dustin Poirier. Now I like him. I like him a little bit. Because I've noticed that he's like got like Tourette's or something when he's on stage and he answers the question like little squinty eyes and shit. He's funny. Dude. I like him. He's funny. Cut that part out. Anyway, what was I talking about? Right, yeah. So then I'm not going to count your win against Dustin Poirier because that was a BMF fight, even though you knocked him out in the second round with a crazy head kick and then did a backflip, which was insane. And you're like, oh, that means so much to me, because I had to like get over that hurdle. That was there was the second loss in his career, Eddie Alvarez, and then he lost to Dustin, and then he lost to Habib, and then he lost to Charles, and now he's lost to Holloway. But at the time, he was like, oh, this is such a big hurdle for me. Yeah, I think he was like crying. If you watch back that fight, he knocks out Poirier, he does a backflip, and then he like kind of halfway jumps over the cage, and he's hugging Whitman. I think he's hugging Trevor Whitman, and it looks like he was like crying because it meant so much to him. I'm not making fun of him for that. That was a great moment in his career. And after that, I was like, damn, dude, Gaethje, doesn't really have anything on the ground. He doesn't train jiu-jitsu, but Makhachev isn't an incredible. I don't think he's an incredible, no, he's pretty good. But, that's the thing, dude. Gaethje's got good takedown defense, but on the ground, I don't know what he's going to do. When I see Habib and Islam on the ground, it does look like Habib is more skillful, especially with, just jiu-jitsu and grappling and going for submissions. And I hear people talk about this. Islam will kind of wait for you to do something, and then he'll, take advantage of it. But if you don't, if you're Volk, he'll just hang out on your back for that entire round. Look, you're supposed to be the best grappler in the sport. I'm fucking bashing your head in. You got me back for 3 minutes. God, Volk. You should have won that round. Anyway. Gaethje's got good takedown defense, and I would, that fight would happen, I'd be like, ooh, I want to see that. But there's not a realm where I would pick Gaethje to win. He's gonna and throw his big winging hooks and overhands, and he's got a nasty uppercut actually. I think that's what he knocked Fiziev down with too. He's got a good uppercut. I remember when I was watching Gaethje versus Chandler. Then when they opened the card, dude, oh my God, UFC used to be so good. In November of 2021 at Madison Square Garden, Colby versus Usman 2, and they had Gaethje Chandler open up the main card. I don't think I've ever been in terms of when Bruce Buffer's in the octagon announcing a fight. That's probably top 3 most hyped I've ever been. Not even I was so anticipated for that fight, but just in that moment, I'm like, oh my God, opening up the pay-per-view is crazy. They should do that shit more often. Anyway, I was watching that fight, and, you know, I'm looking at, like, Chandler's defense team, puts his hands up like this. I'm like, man, if Gaethje throws like a jab or like a cross, or not a cross, a hook, and gets Chandler's guard up, the sides are protected, but that uppercut is there all day. And I was saying that in the first round, and then like a couple minutes later, sure enough, that's what happened. Gaethje, I think, threw a hook, Chandler's guard, and an uppercut. Put him on his butt, sat him down, yeah. But that was 2023. If they had Gaethje versus Islam in Abu Dhabi in 2023, that would have been a great fight. I would have been so excited for that fight, but it didn't happen. And now it's been a couple of years. Gaethje's what, 30? Is he 37, 38 years old? I don't want to see him fight Islam, dude, because Islam's not going to be at 55 for much longer. Fuck. Islam's not going to be at 55 for much longer. He's got 1, maybe 2 fights left. What I think he should do is he should fight Arman, the rightful #1 contender, and then fight. God, I want to see him fight Ilia. I want to see him fight Ilia so bad, but I think Ilia moved up a bit too early. I got to talk about that in another video maybe. But I think Ilia moved up too early from 45. I wish he would have stuck around there a little bit longer and got a few more wins. I mean, he already took out the GOATs, but dude, I think there are some fun matchups for him, and to really solidify himself as like the featherweight GOAT, maybe, arguably, but whatever. I want Ilia to solidify himself at 55 too. So if he fights Islam, that's cool. I'll be really excited for that fight. But I'd rather see him fight Islam after he fights like Charles. If he could fight Charles, for like a #1 contendership fight, that would be sick. That's what I really want. I want Islam versus Arman. I want Ilia versus Charles. Gaethje versus not Islam. Gaethje cannot fight for this belt. Gaethje, if Gaethje fights for the belt, I won't watch it. I won't buy the pay-per-view. I won't go anywhere to watch the pay-per-view. I won't even illegally stream it. Not that I ever do that. Obviously, I would never do anything like that. But I won't watch it. I will not watch it because it's so disgraceful. Arman should be fighting for the belt. I don't care. They're like, oh, he hurt his back. He's got to earn his shot again. I think he's on a 4-fight win streak right now. If you count the Gamrot loss, because I think a lot of people were saying, oh no, I thought he won that fight. Then he's on like a even longer, because I think he was on a win streak before that too, right? Wasn't that before that when he like had two TKOs? I think he finished Joel Alvarez. I forgot who else. Arman is the #1 contender. He deserves to fight for the belt, and if he doesn't, then it's got to be Ilia. It can't be Charles coming off a win against Chandler. So Charles has beat Chandler, and then in June of 2023, Dariush. But then in between that loss was Arman. Lost to Arman Tsarukyan. So yeah, Tsarukyan has to fight for the belt. If it's not him, then it's got to be Ilia. Cannot be Justin Gaethje. Gaethje needs another win or 2 if he wants to fight for the belt. Don't let him fight Islam. Islam is not going to be around here forever, and I want him to have the best resume possible, and Gaethje does nothing. And that's all I got for right now.